Hello and welcome. I'll be going over the preparation and installation of the Mandala Roseworks Boron Ultra Flat Bed and Sovol SV08 bed adapter. I'll be going over the preparation on how to clean the plate in preparation for a new build plate mag sheet, new heater. I'll also be covering the wiring of an install of a new SSR and thermal fuse. This video is not sponsored by any of the businesses listed in this, but these are the places are my go-to for the supplies and parts for my 3D printers. Firstly, this beautifully machined, nearly ultra flat piece of aluminium has smudge marks all over it, obviously, from handling. We need to remove these before we apply our mag sheet and the bed heater on the other side. Here we have M3x20 screws that hold the bed plate to the bed plate adapter. It is not physically connected when it's actually installed. The bed is allowed to free float and you can lift it off. These will need to be attached anytime you are flipping the printer over, or there's also clips on printables that you can attach to this quickly to flip it over, do quick maintenance, and then remove them. First thing I'd like to do is I would like to remove the stickers and place them on the side, pointing to where the screw will be, because once we put the mag sheet over the top of this, all these holes will be covered. I want to be able to cut holes in the sheet where these two screws are located, so in the future I can reinstall the screws if needed. After the removal of the stickers, residue is left behind that we'll need to remove, as well as all the smudge marks. Here we'll be using a degreaser and or adhesive remover. I prefer to use brake cleaner. Mass airflow cleaner works better, leaves no more residue, though it is a little bit more money. Goof off or Goo Gone works well. After that, I recommend using isopropyl alcohol, higher percentage the better, and lint-free paper towels for each application. To start off, I like to take a paper towel and fold it over. Apply my cleaner directly to the paper towel and wipe the build plate surface. Do an initial wipe down to remove any grease, oils, for the really stubborn ones, you can always apply a little bit directly to the plate, not too much. And we'll do multiple passes to make sure everything's good and clean. As you can see, even though it's brand new, it's still dirty. Another clean plate. We want the surface to be as clean and as oil-free as possible to achieve the best adhesion of our mag plate and bed heater adhesives. Now we use isopropyl alcohol, same procedure, with a paper towel, and go over the whole plate. Isopropyl can be quite fumey, so I recommend doing this in a well-ventilated room or outside. Every time more comes off. And the last pass, I like to use just a dry and remove any excess alcohol. There. After a minute or so, isopropyl will have evaporated completely, and the top surface is now ready for the magnetic sheet to be applied. The magnetic bed plate sticker that comes with the build plates I get from West 3D are cut exactly to match the Voron beds. And as you can see, they cover all the screws that were underneath. The adhesive that is used is a 3M 300 LSE. We're going to apply this by pulling back the protective sheet back about a third. And then we're going to install on the bed on the edge, holding down in the middle and laying the bed down. We're going to be pulling the sheet from below all the way out from underneath, laying it flat as we go, pressing down the middle and working our way out. We want to avoid trapping any air bubbles underneath the mag sheet. This will create an uneven high spot when you are doing your bed mesh. It's very important that you apply this as flat as possible and not just lay it straight down. We are now going to remove the backing protecting sheet. I like to peel it back about halfway and hold it with one hand. Flip the sheet over and carefully align the bottom corner and go right along the edge. Once this sticks, it sticks quite well. So I like to run just the edge down and then go down the middle slowly. And we're going to pull the sheet as we go. Going right down the middle. And from the middle here, we're going to gently push out. I do that for all corners. From the middle out. Just like doing a window film or applying vinyl to the outside of a vehicle. Plastic applicators work well, but I find this magnetic sheet surface likes to scratch it. So as you can see, it fits nicely around the edges. Gently push any air pocket if you happen to trap one out to the edges. When we heat this plate up, it'll also soften and it'll be a good time to get any other additional ones. But if you apply down the middle, all the way across this way when you're done, and then out diagonally, you'll help alleviate any issues as the stickers lays down. If you lay it straight down, you'll trap an air bubble underneath and it'll be very difficult to remove if you don't remove it right away. I like to run my hands across the build plate surface and check to see if there's any bumps. I also like to use a light and check the reflectiveness and make sure I don't see any spots. And as you can see, I had one in the bottom right corner, but it is gone, and I do not see one anywhere else. Any smudges here are inconsequential. You can clean them later. But now we're going to cut the holes in the magnetic sticker where the two M3 screws that secure the bed plate to the adapter. As earlier, I put the stickers on the side, but you can also see the screw right here, and we're just going to cut a little hole in that mag plate. In this step, it is very important to have a nice sharp blade. I prefer a razor scalpel or X-Acto knife. You're going to run your finger down the side and you can feel the screw. I'm going to gently poke down. If you push just with the tip, you can actually see the indentation of the hole. And I just so happen to be right in the middle of it. You can see a perfect indentation around the very tip of the scalpel. We're going to push down to break through. And I'm going to go around the edge carefully. This is a similar process that you do on the factory bed sheet when you are trying to access the screws that mount the bed to the plastic adapter. Same. You're just going to take your time, cut around, pull. You can follow the contour, get a nice cut. These mag sheets from West 3D are nice and thick. I'll make sure I get a nice cut. There. Now the head is exposed on this one. We'll do the same thing for this side. Now with both M3 screw heads exposed, we'll take our 2.5mm Allen key and we'll remove the retaining bolts that were installed. This will allow us to lift the build plate over. As you can see, we have these little balls in 3 locations that allow the bed to expand in X and Y direction. And they sit in these little channels and they're allowed to free move. This allows the bed to expand flat and not be held by the side screws as it is in the factory bed on the SV08, in turn causing a taco shape when the aluminum plate, thin or thick as it may be, as it expands, it wants to expand in all directions. If it's being constrained, it can only go one way. It'll either bend in or it'll bend up. As you can see, this is the orientation. The bed plate adapter will be mounted in the printer. The access hole for the wiring from the bed heater to the SSR goes through the left front corner. This is mounted exactly the same way as a Trident, so you need to be careful when you pick your bed heater. The one I chose is the Kenevo Min-Max from KB3D. And the reason why I picked this is because not only is it a nearly edge-to-edge bed heater, but the wiring comes out in the middle. Most of these will actually come out on the end, and depending on how this is mounted, can be a eyesore because you can see it coming out through the front, preferably you'd want it in the back. But since the hole for the access is in the left front, this has an easy path from the build plate to here. The quality of this plate is quite nice. Even the adapter plate is beefy. Looks to be about 8mm or so. 6 to 8mm, quite thick, as you can see. So, very rigid. Beautifully etched. And as you can see, it's also machined. These are the factory mounting holes. We'll be removing those from the factory bed plate and then reinstalling this. Now that we have the bed plate flipped over, we can see how the Kenevo Min-Max bed heater fits this Voron 350 bed. You can see nicely laser etched by Mandala Roseworks. Beautiful work, by the way. The cutouts for the pneumatic mounts are here. This can be flipped as well. You can go either direction. And the reason why I had it mounted with the wiring on this way is because this is going to be the front of the bed. and I want the wiring to have an easy path over to here. This is a 750 watt bed heater at 120 volts, pulls 6¼ amps. The SSR that I'll be using to replace the factory one is a Omron G3NA-210B-U2UTU. Excuse me. It is rated for 5 to 24 volt DC input. This will go to your main board to be controlled. The load side, or the heater bed side, is 24 to 240 volt AC, rated around 10 amps. So this gives you ability at 120 volts for a 1200 watt bed heater. I would advise not going more than 1000. You'd like to keep it below its maximum rating to prolong the life and generate less heat. The hotter things get, the less efficient they are. And at 240 volts, you can use up to 2400 watts. But again, I would use no more than 2000 watts at that point. Also very important, since the bed heater does not come with one, is a thermal fuse. I plan to use this bed up to 110C. So I chose 125C. That gives me 10 to 15 degrees of headroom. And this is just a safety feature in case the bed heater just runs off, the SSR gets stuck at 100%. And if it does get up to 125C, it breaks the circuit. Very important. When we wire this on, this will be mounted to the bed directly. As well, we will be grounding the bed to the chassis and to the mains. Very important to prevent electrical shock, that the bed plate itself is physically grounded. Do not skip that step. We will clean this side just as we did the other. You can remove these if you want to, but with the bed sheet being cut around them, it's not really necessary. The very edges also don't need to be clean. Depending on how you prefer to install it, you could use a bed heater that does not come with adhesive. This particular Knievo comes with a Loman adhesive. I believe it's rated up to 135C. You can use a high temp silicone for adhesive. You could, some people prefer to glue the edges. I find it's not really necessary with these larger edge dead heater. So we're going to clean the build plate, and then we'll apply this in a very similar manner we did the magnetic sheet. You can also use warm water with soap to clean the surfaces if you do not want to use a chemical. I still recommend after that, after it's nice and dry, to use isopropyl alcohol right before you apply the sticker. Cleaning any surface with alcohol helps every adhesive bond better. You could also get an adhesive promoter that you can apply to the build plate surface to improve adhesion even more so. You just need to make sure that the promoter, if you do choose to use it, is rated for high temp. Apply cleaner directly to the paper towel, just like we did before. And I'm just wiping the entire surface. Remove any oils from us handling it. Wearing gloves, latex or nitrile, is also beneficial to help keep from transferring oils from your skin to the surface, build plate surface. As you can see, dirty. I like to do 2 passes. And you see the streaking, this stuff evaporates rather quickly. Brake cleaner can leave a slight residue depending on the surface being applied to. So I had mentioned mass airflow cleaner works even better. It stays a little longer, but it leaves absolutely no residue behind. It can be more expensive. Second pass. Now is where I like to apply Nice purple. A liberal amount. With the surface nicely coated, again, more dirt, I go over it with a dry one to remove any excess. And I try to go over it with one pass. Still just a little bit of dirt. You're going to get microscopic pieces of material from the machining process. You can clean it over and over and over and over again, and you'll always get just a little bit. That is normal. Warm soapy water will help also remove it better. Now I like to lay the bed heater where I want to mount it. The same procedure you would do on a regular Voron bed or any other bed. I like to outline where I'm going to mount it in a Sharpie. This will just give you a quick visual when sticking it down. Try to give it even as possible, clear all the mounting points. And like my build, everything is green. Okay. Carefully remove plate. And I don't know how well you can see it, but you can see the green outline around the edge of the plate. Here we'll be doing the same thing as we did with the magnetic sticker. Flip it over. Peel like the sheet. I like to go about a third to halfway, whatever you can comfortably hold. Going with the sheet, I like to try to fold it like a taco with my one hand. Line one side. Let's usually start in a corner. Line the edge. Easy to reposition the very edge versus the whole thing. Once you get it nice on the line, I apply just a little bit of pressure on the edge, and then I work my way down the middle, trying to hold that taco. Pull the sheet out. Getting true flatness out of the bed heater sticker isn't quite as important as the mag sheet, but I use the same procedure whenever I'm applying a bed heater or mag sheet and any other flat adhesive material. Helps eliminate air bubbles, promote nice even adhesion. You want to apply good firm pressure when spreading this out. If you are RTV sealing it or using as an adhesive to put the bed heater to the aluminum, you want to make sure to leave it for its full curing time. Applying heat will actually not increase or decrease the curing time. It is a chemical reactive process. You need to give it the full time that is recommended by the RTV's manufacturer. Applying weight to it with a roller or a heavy object also helps get the adhesive mounted firmly to the plate. I like to run my hands across it, feeling for bubbles or any high spots. Manufacturer of this bed heater and in the Voron assembly guide, they recommend a sandwiching plate of some sort to apply pressure to this, which will help transfer heat better. It does work very well. Not always possible depending on how your bed is mounted, but as long as you have a good adhesive, does use a very good adhesive. 3M makes a good adhesive sticker for bed plates. I just want to make sure you get nice, firm, even pressure, applying it thoroughly all the way to the edge of your bed heater. Just like in painting, preparation is key. Do not rush it. Take your time. Skipping steps or trying to rush through it, you'll have headaches later. If you've ever built a Voron printer, you realize how true that is. Take your time, measure twice, do it right. Okay. Now we have plenty of length of wire. I believe it comes with 1 meter, which is about 3 feet. Two small red wires are your thermistor, which is mounted here on the other side of the bed heater as close to the surface as possible, which is nice. I try to mount a secondary one directly into the build plate through a spare hole closest to the mag sheet as possible. Sometimes I will drill a very small hole that is just the proper width to get that in there, to get the most accurate readings. Usually do that before I mount the plate. I try to get it near the center. The edges will always be their coolest. They're the farthest away from the bed heater, but this will get it very consistently and even to the edges. These are not polarity dependent, so it does not matter which of these wires goes where. When you attach this to your main board, the 2 large white wires, these are your 2 wires that you'll hook up to your mains power. As this particular board, it's 120 volt. Same thing here. Polarity does not matter. When attaching the thermal fuse, I like to apply a little bit of thermal grease or paste to the backside. This is thermal grizzly. This will help promote heat transfer just a little bit. Using an M5 by 12 round top screw. You see it gives better surface area. You want to make sure, depending on the thickness of your bed, that the screw doesn't go all the way through and push against the magnetic sheet. It's also important that when you tighten this down, to use a little bit of red sealer, like Loctite. I do not recommend using red. You will need some heat to remove it. Blue works good. I like to use just a little bit of super glue. It will not permanently bond it to the metal. We'll screw it down. And you don't want to apply too much force. You just want to snug it. This is a ceramic body and it will crack. Crack and break it, you need to replace it. Do not use your bed heater without one, unless you don't mind your house burning. Now that the bed heater is installed, mag sheet is installed, we can put this back onto our adapter for now. I'll secure it with the 2 mounting bolts that it came with. And the next step is to remove the factory bed, install this, wire up our SSR, and get back to printing. when reinstalling your new ultra flat bed, recommend running the wires through first, and gently set your bed, the balls in their grooves. They'll self-center, and we'll take our M3 screws we took out earlier, and we'll gently seat them. They are just there for retainment. They do not need to be tight. Tighten it up. Pull just a little bit of slack out. And we're ready. Now this thing is hefty. It is quite heavy, which will help also with the lower center of gravity on your printer, and should also help with your resonance frequencies. A heavy solid printer prints faster. So looking forward to it. On to the next video. And now a word from our sponsor. Just kidding. No, I really am. None of this is sponsored by any of the companies used here, even though I buy a lot from all of these companies, others included. I'm just a big supporter of the vendors we have that do offer the parts and stuff to our community, because Sobel SV08 is a smaller group of people. So I really appreciate Mandala Roseworks for coming up with a amazing fix and solution for the bed issues. And the beauty also is you can transfer it to a Voron if you do decide to go deeper into the rabbit hole. That is my end goal eventually when I'm done building out this printer. But this is not a review of the products used in this video. It's just simply a video I wanted to put together to help the community, those who also have helped me, to return the favor. So if you see anything that I have done wrong or could do better, please leave a comment, and let's help this community grow.